form. So now, how do you use what has or have? It depends on the word the subject. If the subject is singular subject, so definitely you must use has. You understand? With the word the verb in past participle, like as driven. The man is singular. You understand? As driven. So that means the man has driven a big car. Now, how do you change this word? This active voice in present perfect tense to what? To passive voice. You still have to go to the word the form. You understand? You need to go to the form again. This is to be plus the verb in past participle plus what? The preposition by. You understand? So that means the car has. You're still going to use as because you are also expressing this word, this passive voice in present perfect too. And I told you that the word a big car is the word is the object in passive, active rather, and it has to be the word, the new word subject in a passive. You have to write that out. A big car. Now, this is has driven. I told you whenever you have singular subjects, has to be used. Whenever you have what? Plural subjects, have has to be used. You understand? Now, a big car is a word in noun phrase, which is a word a singular. So that means you have to say as. Now, when you're expressing it in what? In perfect tense. When you're expressing the word, it turns in perfect tense in passive voice, not in progressive. If it's in progressive, you use been. If it's a word perfect, you use what? Been. That means what? A big car has been. You get it? Has been, because it's imperfect, not in progressive, not in progressive. So if it's in progressive like driving, it has to be is being driven. Now, like this now, as driven has to change to what? Has been. You understand? Has been driven. So that means has been driven. Then the preposition by. Then the word, the previous word subject. Now the word object in passive. The man. The man. So that means a big car has been driven by the man. A big car has been driven by the man. I hope you understand this. So another form is what? The present perfect continuous tense. So in the present perfect continuous tense, you understand? That means it must be something that is what? Ongoing. It's what? It's not the past, but it's what? Ongoing. You understand? So something that happened in the past, you understand? That started in the past, but still in progress now. You understand? So that's what a present perfect continuous what? Tense. You understand? Like for example, now the man, you understand, has been driving a big car. The man has been driving a big car. Now, present perfect continuous. Now, in present perfect continuous tense, now we have what? The man has been driving a big car. So the man has been driving a big car. Now, please note that you've introduced the word driving here as a progressive, you understand, verb. Yeah. Please note, I know I told you that's what, when you are given the word progressive, like driving in what present continuous there, changes to what? Being driven. Now the same thing has to what happen here. You understand? But in order to what? To avoid, you understand, to avoid what? Awkward sentence construction. You understand? In order to avoid sentence what? Construction, you have to omit, instead of it to be like, for example, let's talk about the noun phrase. Now let's write it down. A big car. Now let's omit the what? This verb. Now let's write by. Is done by this man, the man. Now, how do you know what's going to be the what? The verb. You understand? The verb form there. So a big car. A big car is singular. Definitely, you must use what? Has, right? Has. Now, I told you if it's imperfect. If the active voice there is imperfect, use what? Been also. Yes. So that means you have has. A big car has been. Now, you can say driven there. You can say driven, and you cannot say driven. In the sense that, on the nouns, you meant to use in driving. I told you when you're having progressive, it has to be been. Or you can say a big car has been driven. You understand? Yes, it's correct. But in order to also avoid awkward sentence construction, you understand? So it's now said that we can omit this being. You understand? So that means we can also write it as what? A big car has been driven by the man. Yes. So that means when you are writing that, the same thing of what for present perfect and present perfect continuous has to be the same. You understand? So in order to also avoid what awkward construction of the sentence, so it's not going to what sound well. You understand? When you're saying a big car has been driven by the man. So that means you can also say what? A big car has been driven by the man. I hope you understand that. So that's a typical example, sentence example, and how to convert what active to passive voice. We also have what? Past tense. A simple past tense like what? For example, you said the man drove a big car. You understand? You can say the man drove a big car. So in passive, it has to be what? A big car was driven. The only thing that changes that is this. Was driven. You understand? Was driven by the man. Now in the past continuous, you can say the man was driving a big car. Yes, the man was driving a big car. In passive, it has to be what? A big car was driven. That means you have to change this is. That's the only thing changing. So you have to change the is. A big car was being driven by the man in past continuous. In past continuous. Now in past perfect, you can say what? The man had. You know, in the what the construction of what past tense, you have to use had. You understand? So that means the man had driven a big car. You understand? So that means in passive, it has to be what? A big car had been driven. You understand? Had been driven by the man. Had been driven by the man. So in past perfect continuous tense, you can say what? The man had been driving a big car. The man had been driving a big car. So in passive, you can now say what? A big car. And instead of what? Saying a big car had been being driven, understand, by the man, you can just omit the being. You understand? You can just say a big car had been driven by the man. A big car had been driven by the man. I hope you understand that. That's the word for past tense. And for future tense, also, you can just say a simple future tense, you can say, well, the man will drive a big car. So in passive, it has to be what? A big car will be driven by the man. Will be driven. You know, this is has to change to will be. You understand? A big car will be driven by the man. So in present, what? In future, you understand? In future continuous tense, you can say the man will be driving. Will be driving a big car. In passive, you can say what? A big car will be being what? Driven by the man. Will be being driven by the man. You understand? So that is what? Or you say what? Will be driven by the man. You understand? In order to avoid what? Sentence what? Construction there. You understand? Awkward sentence construction. You can just say a big car will be driven by the man. Instead of saying what? A big car will be being driven by the man. So you can just say a big car will be driven by the man. So that's also what to change what? Active to passive voice. I hope you understand and enjoy this class. So if you do, please follow us and what? Also like what our videos and see you in the next class. So thank you. Bye.